All right, go ahead. Thank you, Jeremiah.
Hey, Jeremiah, we're hearing about this big defensive line. How beneficial is it for you guys and kind of the rest of the defense to have these big guys up front?
I mean, I think it's huge. I think something that we lacked on the defensive side of the ball last year was not having like a good defensive line, but having a number of guys that can rotate in and out on the defensive line. I think that's what we have this year. I mean, we got guys like Kamen Rucker that can play multiple positions, Murph, KBJ, Hester, Dez. I mean, there's so many guys that we can rotate around the defensive line to help take snaps off a couple to take help snaps off of guys, because I think the games that we ended up losing last year, I think our D line got a little bit tired in the fourth quarter, and I think this year we're going to be able to rotate, and it's going to help our defense a lot.
Ross?
Hey, Jeremiah. So along the same lines, what is a better and stronger and deeper defensive line allow y'all to do better on defense in terms of schematic stuff? I mean, what is kind of, without giving away too much, obviously Bateman kind of allowed to expand his defense with this type of defensive line compared to previous seasons, I guess?
I think it allows us to get in different fronts. Allows us to get in different fronts and run our multiple different blitz passages, different blitz packages with the guys. I mean, last year, later in the game, we started getting a lot of base defense because when we would try to penetrate and get push with the defensive line, we would run the blitz, but like their push wasn't the same as the first or second quarter. And I think along with that, I think Coach Has did a great job on this offseason having the D line and O line and getting them stronger. I think it's just going to help us overall as a team and defense.
Is Bateman being way more creative this year compared to seasons 1 and 2? I mean, is it a lot different in all the stuff he's rolling out?
I think he's being more creative, but at the same time, I think he's not making it too difficult on the guys on the defensive end, not changing it too much so that we have to reevaluate the whole defensive scheme. I think he's changing little things so we can still put them in buckets and still play fast.
Okay, cool. Thanks, man.
Greg?
Jeremiah, 2 years ago, you were getting ready to play your first significant snaps. Now you're the old guy in the position room. How have you embraced that role as the leader, not only of the inside linebacker room, but also the defense as a whole?
I think I just embraced it. I think I felt it really that first year I started, I think maybe halfway towards the end of the season, felt like I started to become a leader on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, I think it wasn't just myself, but also like having the support from the people like the defensive line, the people on the back end, the linebackers beside me. A lot of people looked at me, came to me for advice, came to me, were always looking at me in games, looking for the calls, looking for the check. So I think along the season, my first year, I think that that just gave me a boost. I think it gave me a confidence boost that I needed along the season.
Ever since we've talked to you from the time that you arrived, you've always exuded a lot of confidence. Has that always been the case for you? Have you always kind of been the voice of reason and the leader in whatever room you may be in?
I mean, it's funny you say that because in high school, I don't feel like I wasn't really the outspoken guy on the team. I don't think we really had. In high school, I had a good team, but I think that's just one of the things I regret back at like playing high school ball. I'm not the vocal leader that I am now that I was back then. And that's one of the things I regret from high school ball. I think my high school team could have been a lot better if I stepped up and be a vocal leader. So I think I kind of adapted to it over the years I started, and just having the boost from the guys, I think that gave me the confidence boost to be a leader and be more vocal for the team.
Thank you.
Andrew?
Jeremiah, Mack and Coach Bateman have told us that with all the numbers that you guys have on defense, all the depth that you have, they're essentially asking guys to produce more while playing a little bit less. That can be kind of tricky for some guys that have played a ton before. How have you seen the group embrace that request, that demand by the staff?
I think we embrace it a lot. I think that is starting with practice. I mean, since we're deeper on the D line, we have more guys rotating on the defensive side of the ball during practice, and I think that's going to correlate to the game. It's same goes with the linebackers. I mean, Cedric Gray right now is learning the mic and the will position, and he's playing super fast at the mic and the will position. And when we have guys substituting out there on the defensive line during both team periods, I mean, you see Murph out there making plays, you see KBJ out there making plays. So I think it starts with practice, having that rotation and being able to get comfortable taking less snaps and making plays. And I think all the guys are making the most of it.
You mentioned Cedric, and Coach Thigpen talked about Cedric as well. How have you seen him grow? He said he's super fast, maybe the second fastest guy out there at linebacker. How else have you seen Cedric grow to the point where he can be trusted if he's put into duty to play a lot of snaps in a game?
I think he's just become a lot more comfortable at position. I think the Mike and the Will playing the Mike and the Will possession actually helped him because I think he's starting to learn more, not just about like what the Will has to do, but playing the Mike position, you start to understand like what other guys have to do, the nickel position, the safety, and then you're always set in the front. So you're really starting to understand your front and where your leverage and where your help is. So I think that just said so much throughout this camp, throughout the spring. And I think him learning like what other people have to do, the defensive line and the safeties, I think that helped him get more vocal. And I mean, I think he's taken huge steps since last year.
Well, thank you.
CL?
Hey, Jeremiah, when did you kind of start getting into the minutia, like starting to love the minutia of understanding schemes and where you fit in it? Coach Thigpen just kind of hinted that, you know, even saying that you and Sam talk a lot about scheming and things of that nature.
Yeah, I'd probably just have to say early on in college, like we had pretty much a base defense. Like we didn't have too many calls, too many checks to make. So my first 2 years, I really didn't have like a clue, like, okay, the defensive coach is calling this on third and short or this on second and long. I think it just came along with playing the game. I mean, I think I get into the after every single game I play, I feel like I get more and more into JB's mindset. Like when it's third and 4 or 5, like I think of a call and little behold, like Coach Bateman will call it because I feel like I'm so clued in, like on down and distance, like what is like thinking in Bateman's head, like what he likes to run, what he likes to run in the red zone, or what he likes to run in the open field. So for me, it was just playing in the games and then finding out Bateman's tendencies and formation and down and distance.
Are you at a point too where you may suggest something to him? Like, you know, do you have that kind of relationship where you can say, hey, well, if they come with this package or whatever, what if we do this?
Absolutely. I mean, I'll give them suggestions if I think like we maybe should add something to help benefit the Mike and the Will to make it a little bit easier on them, or to maybe just to throw something out the window. Like if we have a Tuesday practice, our first day of practice, and some things aren't looking too good and it's complicated for the Mike or the Will or the boundary safety, and we're having problems with it on Tuesday, and I can tell it's going to be problems like down the road. It's not just going to be a 3 or 4 day fix. I'll go to him on Tuesday after practice and be like, I'm not too sure about this call. Like, I mean, there's a lot of moving parts in this call. There's a lot of checks, not just for me, but for the Will and the boundary and the free safety. And I feel like that could be a problem on Saturday or Friday nights. And he listens and he understands, and we usually make that adjustment by Wednesday.
All right, thank you.
All right, anybody else for Jeremiah before we let him go? All right, Jeremiah, thank you. Appreciate your help. Enjoy the rest of your day.
No problem. Never going.